Hi, good morning. We're here with Richard Askew from Askew Brook. How you doing, Richard?
I'm good, Mike. Nice to meet you.
And you? Thank you very much for coming on with us this morning. So if you could give us a little bit more of a background as to who it is that you are, what it is you do exactly, and how long you've been doing it for, please.
So I run a software and web development business in sunny Scarborough on the North Yorkshire coast. Um, there are nine of us in total, and I think this is our 11th year that we're going into. So yeah, we tend to work for manufacturing and engineering companies, and then we have a large tourism and hospitality based, obviously, because of where we are. But we make um, anything you can think of that goes online. So
Yeah.
apps, CRMs, factory systems, websites, anything like that. So we're the nerdy part of web and software development.
Fantastic. I was going to say, sprung to mind that you kind of data geeks and when you mentioned the word nerdy there. So what makes you guys stand out from other operators doing those things in the sectors that you work in?
Well, I'm first, so I'm a programmer, so I'm in Scarborough because I went to uni
Yeah.
in Hull, Scarborough campus to do internet computing. So I'm a programmer first and foremost. And I suppose the thing that makes us stand out is my team. I'm very, very lucky to have a really, really knowledgeable and techie team, and there's not a lot that we haven't done between us. So that makes us stand out, I think. And because we're still a small team, a lot of our don't like the word competitors, but a lot of
Yeah.
people use Microsoft products and stuff. Um, and what comes with that is all the account manager and all that kind of stuff. Whereas where all our team will get involved in the project at the very start, middle, and end. So even when we have kickoff meetings or sales meetings, I've usually got a developer there who can input on that straight away, and that knowledge from the get-go is really, really important because we're not selling stuff that's not possible and all that kind of stuff. So I
Yeah.
suppose what makes us different, and this is what everyone else will say, is that we really are an extension of companies that we work with, but we genuinely are, I think.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, the people behind the business are what kind of makes it different, and how you deliver
Yeah.
the service through the people that you have is really important. So it's good to share on that. So in terms of your business journey to date as a entrepreneur, how have you found it going from being a programmer, say, to a business owner? What's the journey been like to date?
Um, so it was never the plan. Would be the first thing I'd say. So I got let go from my previous job about a month before my first child was
Wow.
due. So it was a real, stressful period. So it was never the plan. So I got offered a job in York, and on the way back from the second interview, I got stuck on the A64. Obviously, and I
Yeah.
and I turned it down in the car on the way back because I thought I couldn't miss um, that first 6 months being stuck in traffic. So the plan
Yeah.
was to set up, do 6 months, get over this bump, and then just see what happens. And then it's just kind of, you know, carried on and grown. Yeah, so we probably when did we start? 2013. So just coming out of the financial crash, we've had Brexit, we've had COVID.
Mhm.
It's been a real interesting time to run a business, but I wouldn't change it for anything, and I don't think I would go and work for anyone else anymore. So yeah, it's been steady away really. We like I say, there's nine of us now. We probably average about a hire a year, but it's never been like growth is never the plan. Um, so if your listeners are expecting some shot of wisdom, I'm afraid it's not there.
Go on then. What's
You've
the
got to earn
reason for
money, you've got to pay for your house and your kids, and you
yeah?
just keep going. That's it.
What's I was going to say, what's the reason for growth not being the plan?
It's always the plan. Well, first and foremost, I want to. It's a complicated question, actually. One, so we're fully remote now,
Yeah.
fully remote at COVID. We used to have a big office in Scarborough town centre. Growth was never, from headcount, growth was never the plan because it's really hard to hire the,
Mhm.
the skills we need where we are. So just out of necessity, that was never gonna happen. Um, we have grown, like turnover's grown every year and profits grown every year, but in terms of size, we've not gone from 5
Right,
to
I see.
20, 30 people. So the aim has been always, I want to look after the people who make the decision to work with me and for
Mhm.
me, although I hate that. But my aim is to grow their salaries rather than grow the headcount in the business, if that makes sense. So that's where I am.
Yeah,
I'm not, a capitalist traditional business owner, and I feel quite uncomfortable sometimes that people work for me. So I just need to make sure that they're well looked after and well taken care of as much as I possibly can, so I
yeah.
can be comfortable with what we do. And I am comfortable now, I think.
You're a people first guy, so
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
that's well, that's hugely admirable, respectful, and a great way to run a business. Is a foundation for success. If people are your business, then yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a good share there. So if we ask you about, I know you mentioned about growth there. What does the future look like for you now then, and what do you see as the main challenges or opportunities going ahead?
I suppose I think there's a big challenge at the minute that I think the economy is still in quite a rough place. I think we get GDP figures and growth figures, and I still think that places like, Scarborough, and I'm from,
Mhm.
North Derbyshire, ex-mining village, I think it is still a really struggling, stressful time for a lot of people, particularly places like Scarborough that has a lot of hospitality and tourism businesses that have been through the absolute ringer. So I think
Yeah,
the challenges are that the economy is still in a precarious position. Whether that changes or not after the election, who knows? I think the opportunity wise, I don't know really. I think more and more people are aware of the impact that tech can have, especially with AI and that kind of stuff. And I
yeah,
do wonder whether people get more and more used to it and be more and more open to what it is that we do. I know a lot of people don't agree with that. So yeah, I think they're the opportunities. I think as more younger people get in positions of power in businesses, I think there's much more chance of doing things differently and
yeah,
embracing ways of doing it, I think.
yeah, definitely. I think that kind of needs to happen, really. You pin, well, hopes or just inevitability that things will change as younger people come into power and have experienced what they've gone through over the last 20 years with the digital revolution and all that kind of thing. So
Yeah. And I think
interesting.
the flip side to that is, yeah, if I sound ageist, I didn't mean it to be. Some of the most like visionary people that we work with are, people who've got 20, 30 years on me.
Yeah,
So they are there. It's just you do notice a change because I started when I was 27, I'm 37 now. And I still think I'm young, but I'm having those
yeah,
thoughts where I'm not really, I'm nearly 40.
yeah.
So when I
Hey,
mean young, I probably don't mean young. I mean my age.
yeah. No, I get it. And well, with you being a people first person, then perhaps some of your responsibility is to bring out the visionary people, help lead them to do the things that they need to do to secure the future of your business and other people's businesses. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's good stuff. So, in terms of all the history that you've got, the experience in business over the last 7 years, what's would you say is the biggest lesson that you've learned to date? If there's one that you could share.
I think your network is absolutely everything. Um, and that's not your network in sense of I've got all these people I can sell to. It's just a network of people who understand what you're about. And yes, opportunities come up from that, but you learn things, you know things, you hear things. When I first started, I just went to absolutely every networking event I could
Mhm.
go to. And it is such a good grounding for understanding just business in general and making decisions. So I think if anyone was starting out now, I would say that, yeah, grow your network as much as possible, but genuinely. So these people to talk to rather
Yeah.
than just collecting. Says the person with over 1,000 connections on LinkedIn. So I'm a little bit hypocrite there. But I think that's a really, really important one. And on the flip side of that, just to contradict myself a little bit, I think that when you first start, a lot of a lot of people come to you looking to partner and that kind of stuff. So us doing websites in the early days, we had a lot of photographers, copywriters, designers, all fine, but we had a lot of people looking to partner. But largely they just wanted to ride on your coattails a little bit. So I think
Yes.
I would just, a little word of caution that that kind of stuff happens, but it comes naturally. We have copywriters, we work with designers, photographers, but it's not like a formal thing.
Yeah.
It's just that we recommend people and they recommend
Sure.
back. So I think if you were starting out now, I'd just try not to get like your head turned by exciting things and just realize that it is a slow process for most people. Not everything's like Stephen Bartlett.
Yeah. Yeah. The
Sometimes,
majority. Yeah.
yeah, sometimes. It takes 10 years to get 10 stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. But also, there's a lot of everything is highlighted as success. What
Yeah,
you read and see in the media. You think all that success, what's gone on before that, either with other people not getting to where those people are, or those people are there, but the amount of effort that they had to put in and failures and things they went through to get there, it's not always shown. So
no.
it's kind of important to understand the veil behind success, isn't it? Really, that it takes a lot of time and dedication, and it's also a great point. I think it only comes with experience that not to get excited about, say, someone coming on and saying, "Oh, I've got this great opportunity," but what they're looking to do is line their own pockets, kind of. And
Yeah, and equally, you might meet someone, you go, "Oh, I've got to be friendly with them. They're like, I don't know, head of something at some company.
yeah,
Oh, we're in there now." But it's very rare that you are in there. And I
yeah,
go back to, genuine connection. If someone happens to be the head of something and you get on with them, excellent.
yeah.
But don't force it, would be my advice.
Great advice, good share. So, what inspires you to do what you do, Richard? Are you? Is
I know,
it the
yeah,
people you mentioned that earlier? Is that what can I get you out of bed? Your team, friends, family, any other?
yeah, it is the biggest cliche going, but yeah, family, 2 kids relied on me. I would love to leave that when they get to 18, 20, 25. I would love to have them the option of taking this on.
Mhm.
That drives me. I quite like the idea of, well, as creating quite a high-tech company that works with really, really big brands. I quite like doing that in a place like Scarborough and not Leeds or
Yeah,
York. That drives me a little bit, I think, just to
good
show
driver.
that it
Yeah,
can be done. So yeah, I think it's that really. It's a little bit of people don't expect it to be possible, and we can show it's kind of possible.
like that.
Yeah.
Nice one. So, if you were to meet yourself at 18, or one of your kids at 18, or someone else is coming and ask you for advice, say 18, start of adulthood there, but a younger person going into business for the first time, what would that piece of advice be?
I would say trust your gut and take, especially when you're 18, trust your gut and take risks.
Mhm.
The second you've got mortgages and families, it gets a lot harder
Oh,
to
yeah.
take kind of.
Yeah.
So when I was at school and college, I was very, straight-laced, swotty. Yeah, and even when I had a job, I was very like worked all the hours I could. And now I've kind of not self-employed, but I was and kind of am. You
Mhm.
kind of see behind the curtain a little bit and realize that it's not as it is hard, but hard in a different way to make a living than what you thought it was. It's not
Yeah,
necessarily getting the work, it's more managing all the other stuff around it. So I think, yeah, my advice would be to take risks and do things that don't always make sense but feel right, which is probably no way to run a business.
yeah.
That's
Well,
what
I
I
know, go in head first, learn some lessons, and while you've got less responsibilities, make the
yeah,
mistakes then. Yeah.
absolutely.
That would be a great way of doing it. Good piece of advice. Thank you. So, lastly, just to kind of sum up, in terms of latest news around what you guys are up to, or it's a case of just sharing your website, feel free to do that.
Yeah, so some nice news. So Rachel, our social media person, she's
Yeah,
from the US and she's just got a British citizenship like 2 weeks
excellent.
ago. So that's excellent news.
Yeah,
So that's really nice from a people point of view. Yeah, I suppose we're doing a lot around manufacturing, engineering, um, internal bespoke system. So if anyone wants to talk about anything on the nerdy side of web development, have a look at askeybrook.com, I suppose would be my
Brilliant.
my shout.
Well, Richard, thank you very much for everything that you've shared. Really appreciate your time today, and I look forward to keeping an eye on how things go for you over the next 11 years.
Perfect. Thanks, Mike.
Cheers.